mathematicians. Today we are going to talk about congruent triangles. Congruent triangles are triangles with the same size and the same shape. This means all corresponding parts, the sides, and the angles are congruent. So if they're in the same spot on each triangle, they are congruent to one another for congruent triangles. When triangles are congruent, we can write a congruency statement. The most important thing about congruency statements are the order. So here, this says triangle A, B, C. So this triangle here, and we have to go in that order, A, B, C, and back, is congruent to down here, D, E, F. Okay. So what happened is this triangle was just rotated or spinned to make this one here. So A, B, C is congruent to D, E, F. You can tell that their corresponding angles and sides are congruent. So angle A is congruent to angle D. They both come first. Remember that order matters. And I'm marked with one angle here. Angle B then would be congruent to angle E. They both have 2 marks there, so that one, those are indicated they are the same. And lastly, angle C is congruent to angle F because they both come last and they have 3 to indicate that these 2 are the same. So same triangle, just spun around a little bit, and you have to have the correct order to match up the pieces that are together. CPCTC stands for corresponding parts so pieces that are in the same spot, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So if we know 2 triangles are congruent, then we know that each pair of corresponding parts is also congruent. So that means their angles and their sides, the ones that match. So let's start listing some congruent pairs. We're going to list, based off of the congruency statement, the angles that are the same and the sides that are the same. So if I'm looking at angles, JKL has 3 letters so that each letter has an angle, 3 angles. So J matches angle P. So angle J is congruent to angle P. They were written in order so that these 2 angles would match. What other angle is a match? Angle K is the same as angle Q. They both come in the middle, so they are the same measurement. And lastly, angle L is congruent to angle R because they both come last. So the order that the triangle is named really matters when you are starting to pick out which pieces are the same. So if I look at sides, I need 2 letters to indicate a side. So if I start here, I have JK. That's side, so I'll put a mark. Is congruent. Now JK came first, so which one comes first over here? Side PQ. Let's take the last 2. KL KL is congruent to QR because that one was in the same spot. KL was the last 2. QR is the last 2. There's one more side that I'll be missing, and that would be connecting J and L. Okay, that would be the side getting back to the beginning. So J and L, and what is the match over here? P and R. Okay, so the order that those are listed in matters. Now, there's a lot of different ways we could say the same triangles are congruent. And basically, again, it's all on the order. So I could move J to the end here, and I could have triangle K, L, J. So I move J to the end. What must I do on this side? The exact same thing. P will go to the end, and that will become PQR. I could go backwards. LKJ is congruent to RQP. I could move K to the end and then move Q to the end. So there's a lot of different congruency statements that we could write by moving these letters around. But however I move these, I must move these the exact same way so that their pieces match. Try this next one on your own. List the angle pairs that are the same, the side pairs are the same, and write another congruency statement. Let's see how you did. Angle W. What is angle W congruent to? Angle E. What about angle X? It's in the middle, so it is congruent to angle F. And lastly, angle Y comes last, so it is the same as angle G. So in these two triangles, if I were to draw them out, those would be congruent. What about sides? Let's start with WX first. Which one is the same as WX? EF. They both come first. So they are congruent. What about if I did XY next? What piece is in the same spot as XY? FG. And lastly, WY is the same as first, last, EG. There are many different congruency statements that we could write. What if I decided to go Y, X, W? Y, X, W. What would be the match for that? I went backwards, so here I would have to go triangle G, F, E. I would have to go backwards. Okay. There are multiple different congruency statements that would work there. So let's start matching some things up given our diagrams. They tell us K, P, M. So this triangle right here is congruent to A, Y, C. Okay, so I go K, P, M and back, and then I have to start here A, Y, C. So this triangle here was spun around down here. So if I were to take K, it would have spun it down here to A. So I'm looking here and I want to know KM. This piece here. What piece is it congruent to over here? Well, if I think of my triangle spinning, it should be this piece here, AC. KM is first and last, so over here, AC. Okay. Let's look at CY. This one right here. CY. Now this goes backwards, so last, middle. So that should be MP. Make sure that matches here. If I were to spin the triangle back, it should be down here. Exactly. PK. So I'll go this one here. 1, 2, 3. This side. Which other one over here is left? YA. 1, 2, 3. So PK, middle first. Y, A. Do these next two, angle Y and angle K. List the one that is congruent. Let's see how you did. Angle Y. Which angle is the same as angle Y? In the middle? In the middle, it must be angle P. Angle K. So this one up here. K comes first, so it must be the same as angle A. And angle ACY. So that would be this angle here. ACY. Well, if I think it went ACY, what would that order look like over here? First, last, middle. First, last, middle. First, last, middle. Double check. KMP. Is this the only one left that needs a match? Yes, that would be the match. Last part wants you to rename some triangles. So this is just doing more congruency statements. So they're just switching the letters around here. So I need to make sure I do the same thing to the other side. So here I go MPK. So I'm going backwards. MPK. So what would this one here be? Backwards, CYA. Make sure you put a triangle in front. Try the next one on your own. Let's see how you did. Triangle YAC. YAC. Middle, first, last. You do the exact same thing over here. Middle, first, last. So what triangle would that be? P, K, M. So match up those pieces that go together for congruent triangles. Nice job today, mathematicians.